Hi there, Salman. How are you?
I'm good, David.
Good
How's
stuff.
it going?
Okay. Very well, very well. Yes. Great to speak to you today. As a way of an introduction, this is another one of our GCS Connect Leaders series. I'm speaking today to Salman, who is a senior technology consultant, senior solution architect with Ericsson. He's got 27 years experience within the industry, networks and telecommunications. I actually met Salman, I think, was it about six months ago, Salman?
Yeah.
At one of our of GCS Connect events that we had in Dublin.
Yeah.
So we shared pizza and had beer there and soft drinks, which was nice. And here we are now locked down in our house. Obviously, everyone's aware of the Ericsson brand. Ericsson is, I think, 27% market shareholder in the telecommunications and network equipment market. It is a very well-known brand, and I believe Salman is one of its kind of lead exponents in where technology and communications are going to go forward. And a very, very interesting chat and a very interesting presentation as one of our Connect events. So I thought of him very quickly as a good person to kind of get involved. But obviously that's my introduction. I'm sure, Salman, you can do yourself more justice. So do you want to just quickly take us through kind of what you're involved with, what your role is at Ericsson, and really, yeah, kind of a background on yourself, maybe?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've nearly spent 20 years of my service in telecom and IT sector, and I have traveled extensively. Originally, I'm from Pakistan and have been living in Ireland for the last 12 years.
Sure.
I've seen, almost all the continents, in the globe, and I worked around 40 telecom service providers and operators. And I've been working in customer industry focused environments and devoted majority of my time engaging directly with those in the local market and elsewhere around the globe. So I've been working in IT, telecom, and IP and broadband environment, have led teams in different parts of the market unit. I've worked out with competence development, and I've led boot camps in different regions in US, in South America, Sweden, and in Dublin as well. So, I mean, there's bit of traveling gave me a lot of extensive understanding of different cultures, how people interact, how corporate cultures work with the local markets, and how teams are managed from different locations. Because we are headquartered, of course, in Stockholm, but my home base is in Ireland. So I frequently travel to my headquarters for different business-related things. And so we are kind of a mini United Nations, so to say.
Sure. Okay, that's good.
We are about 100,000 employees of different nationalities, different cultures. So it gives a lot of, there's a wide spectrum of things that you learn, not just the technology and the professional part, but also the soft skills part, that there's a personal development and then there's a professional development. So all these years, I've been working with Ericsson for the last 13, 14 years, but before that, I was working in a different role in a different country. So I carried all that knowledge, the competence and the experience, and then it amalgamated with the culture in Ericsson.
So you're used in some ways, the way that a lot of us are working now is a way that you're quite used to working, working from home, working with remote teams, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so working remotely in a normal situation is a bit different, but this is a pandemic situation we are facing. Sure. So the ball game is a bit different, but we are coping up with that. And thanks to the invent of internet, that the technology has given us a virtual environment where you can connect with your teams, work with them, work with your stakeholders, your managers, and work with your colleagues. But as we discuss, as we will discuss in this talk, so you'll see, I'll share some of my ideas, what I have been experiencing, and what are my thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. So, you've obviously been. I've been in the recruitment business as long as you've been in the technology business. So, From your side, what significant kind of challenges have you been through that you've had to overcome, maybe as a kind of a leader or as an architect in the past, that you can use to kind of build your reaction to this situation?
So this is, an interesting question, and it's a difficult one as well at the same time. Fortunately, such situations are great opportunity to turn big challenges into great accomplishments as well. So let's say from a recent engagement with an operator in Europe, I had to leverage with an on-premise cloud certification framework for the operator's environment. And this also included reducing the on-premise customer problems in their network proactively, and to work with cross-functional teams within Ericsson to elaborate comprehensive on-premise test plan, taking into consideration market considerations and the customer requirements and profitability. So it was kind of a complex pre-sales job where we had to sell that solution to the customer. And the solution, I took a futuristic approach and managed to design the strategy to test the NFVI, or Network Functions Virtualization stack. The idea was to incorporate the future state infrastructure to be aligned with the cloud strategy of the operator. So I created effective NFVI test methodologies for functional and non-functional testing, and that facilitated to advance the organization to an automatic platform provisioning. So I developed these test strategies for an NFVI stack with the help of all the stakeholders together. So actually gelling the teams together and getting the talent and getting the right answers in a restricted time frame is a big challenge for these kind of situations.
And when you talked about future proofing there, I guess it's difficult to future proof this situation that we're in at the moment, this kind of coronavirus crisis. But were you future proofing the fact that people, maybe for environmental reasons, might be working from home more? There might be less travel. Was that part of what you were dealing with or thinking about?
Yeah, in our work culture, we have been working, for the past many years in different when people are in different time zones, and of course, travel is sometimes not possible on a very quick notice. So in my situation, I have been running meetings and workshops with the local team and the customers online, and then I had to. In an instance, I had to directly fly to meet the stakeholders of the operators to handshake the final block of solution that we created. And fortunately, the customer was happy, and so it was a short call on site. But usually, most of the meetings we have been running through, we do it in a remote fashion. So it also depends on the type of role you are doing. So let's say if you are more working in a design and architecture type of roles, then you have to spend 2 weeks or more than 4 weeks on site. So that is a different structure. But if you are working in a pre-sales environment where you have to deliver things in a very time-constrained environment, then it mostly works on the remote teleworking.
Yeah, I'm finding that myself with recruitment. We're out there speaking to our clients, we're having these discussions. I guess part of my role will be pre-sales, and there's a lot that you can do, and I think you can be a lot more focused, can't you, about your work and you're getting on with things in some ways.
Yeah.
Just on a kind of personal side, how are you kind of personally dealing with working from home? I think you mentioned to me earlier you work from home quite a lot. So what do you think the kind of positive and negative aspects of that are?
What I've seen in the past, from the mid of March that we started this virtual lockdown, everybody is in that state. So the world of work has transformed in the wake of this novel COVID-19. And we are learning, we and myself also, we are learning new ways to maximize and deliver our work. What we are looking is, as a company, is we are investigating setting some buffer time into our work schedule, that is set of time which serves as a buffer between high concentration work that allows you to catch up on industry news and take a walk or simply reflect. So different people might be facing different challenges, that is maintaining work-life balance and parenting, etc. But for those fortunate enough to have the opportunity to continue to work from the safety of their homes, a colleague of mine shared a valuable insight the other day, saying that there are essentially no buffers in our schedules when you're working from home. So free time in between video calls is increasingly being absorbed by taking care of kids, caring dependents, doing some house chores, and myriad other ways in which people are jumping from one task to next. So combined with all the uncertainty related to physical and economic well-being, it can take a toll. Make sure, so we are making sure in our company and in our team also to carve out a real buffer time to catch with your breath, get some exercise, or whatever you enjoy doing that helps out, put your mind at ease.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I just been helping my my children with some homework where they had to do some sort of roll call video. So they pulled me away from my desk and I had to make up some rhyme on the spot or something, which to send to the teachers. So yes, you get involved in all sorts of things from home. And I think it is very important to think about that, you know, we've been talking quite a lot about mental health, about, you know, working, obviously furloughed workers as well. It's important, isn't it, to kind of engage teams? I mean, you work on quite big kind of global work teams. So it's quite important to kind of keep those people engaged and keep them feeling like they're a team, even though they're sat on their own, isn't it? How do you best deal with that at Ericsson on the projects that you run in terms of keeping the teams engaged?
So, I mean, this pandemic has disrupted the norms of work in our company as well, both in terms of how our teams follow and how the managers or the team leaders lead. So as a leader, I think what I see is that I must be mindful of how, when, and what to communicate to the team. And these are the three important elements. I mean, they have profound impact on how people internalize the information. So I myself try to make communication with the teams I'm working concise, and usually, I mean, the usual lengthy email updates explaining the ins and outs of your company's response to the virus and the business dealing you are doing probably is not taking the breath through the noise. So one idea is to think about like using graphics, visual aids, analogies, personal anecdotes. This can improve processing by about 80%. So we are using, our company is engaging in all these practices to bring up these things on board so that we can deal up with the remote working effectively.
Yeah, and have you found any other ways that, you know, dealing with this is changing maybe your way of working as a leader? You know, that maybe you've got one certain style, but you've slightly changed your style going into this situation.
So, I mean, the answer to this question is that first of all, you have a feeling that what you are trying to tell to your teammates or what you are trying to sell to a customer, they're not getting the right answer. So this lies in a mental process, and we all undergo under these situations that I'm sitting at this desk behind in front of the monitor, and somebody a few miles or 1,000 miles away is reacting in a different manner. So you have to control and see the mental noise in high stress situations, and this reduces the ability to process the information by 80% on average. So under stress, people have difficulty in hearing and understanding and recalling the information. So the best way to reach your team is that you have to first of all acknowledge that people are under stress. They react more favorably to trusted messengers or individuals they know and they respect. People tend to judge the messenger before they judge the message itself. So choosing messengers who have demonstrated credibility and have been effective in past situations become imperative. So in our situation, like we have a hierarchical organization. So the local managers, the local team leads, are the ones who are taking care. We have been, for example, running daily calls, stand-up calls with our teams, not from a professional or business perspective, but from a daily life routine. Okay, just do something. Tell us what you have been doing with your family and how your family is doing. Do you need any help? And also, we have created some measures. We have taken some measures in case somebody requires that he or she needs to be isolated. Then we have created some desks and 24/7 numbers where they could be they could call somebody in our company to get help. So, for example, getting groceries or getting medicines from a store. But you are isolated in your home, you cannot go out. So there are travel restrictions. There are restrictions in traffic as well.
Yeah, that's right. And going forward, and thinking about this situation as something that will pass, and then we'll probably be dealing with a new normal. I think you were saying before that you felt there would be different peaks as we go through.
Yeah.
We obviously talk about business, then we talk about technology leaders, but maybe for the kind of technology side and people that are kind of running networks and that sort of thing. I mean, what advice would you give them about setting up their networks and getting their technology right for how you see the world of work existing in maybe for the next 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, so I would say, you're right when you say 12 months. So we still see that the vaccine or maybe the solution to this problem of this COVID-19 might come to the market in like 12 to 18 months time frame. So I would say it's important to just understand that pushback or resistance, as we call it, is inevitable with any type of major change. There is one thing in this world which is constant, and that is change. So either we learn to manage change, or the change start managing us. I would always say at any change management type of talk that we are engaged sometimes in our company. So resistance can actually be a positive sign, and that is evidence. It is an evidence that people are hearing your message. It is a natural reaction to feeling a loss of control. People are no longer able to operate as they expect, as they have expected.
They used to,
and that is a bit uncomfortable for everybody. So for the receiver and for somebody who is giving the message across the board. So it's counterintuitive, but leaders should embrace resistance when it emerges, because they can only respond. I mean, they have to respond wisely in this kind of situation. So I mean, methodologies evolve, procedures have evolved, security measures company have taken with respect to working remotely, and I think technology companies know they know how to deal with this situation. It is like difficult for companies which are more of where there's more business to business contact, where there's more physical work going on, let's say in deliveries,
manufacturing or something.
Exactly,
like that,
manufacturing, services, and product deliveries, etc., etc. So I think.
Do you think that when you talk about manufacturing and that sort of thing, I know obviously something big within IT is IoT. Do you think that will? And this is really a change driver, isn't it? I mean, I would look at this that technology is actually ready for this. Is maybe the world, and certainly not healthcare, is not ready for this. Like technology has all the answers to us doing like this. I just don't think we know a way out of it to kind of return to the normal. But I think technology can platform that. Do you think things like IoT and that sort of thing will almost be sped up now? And
oh yes. I mean, we have seen before this pandemic arrived, we have been seeing IoT as just making your home smart, means triggering some alarms, or starting a washing machine, or turning off your lights or turning on the lights. But then there's other bigger side of more maybe smart cities or smart countries, maybe managing collection of trash, or delivering services, even drone technologies, delivering packages to home. So IoT, I think, will be the flagship of all these things where people-to-people contact is reduced.
Yeah, I tend to agree, and it's something that we've definitely seen from quite a lot of our clients, and that's an area that they're looking into. As well as that, I mean, obviously there's a very exciting kind of prospect for quite a lot of certainly technology companies. What other positives do you see coming out of this future business landscape? if any?
Again, it's an interesting question. So, I mean, business leaders these days, and I've seen in my company, they are scrambling to deal with a variety of problems, from slumping sales and stalling supply chains to keeping employees healthy and making sure they can continue working in a healthy environment. So, from the landscape of business technology, the current situation has many potentials for future business growth. It is a new strategic initiative facing huge execution challenges. So there are three barriers that can prevent us from productively engaging. So one, not being able to help. Second, not knowing how to help. And third, not believing our help is important. So we are in an we in our organization have been working, have been doing remote work for many years, but under very different conditions, not under a crisis like this. So we are recalibrating our minds in our company environment in terms of why we are doing remote work now. So in this moment, for example, of panic, when companies and workers are trying to figure out how to be productive and how to be happy working from home, the most practical advice I can give is to find someone who is experienced in remote work tech tools. Also, I would say that in a short time, it's not possible to do everything. So there are few things companies can focus on. First, in a remote world, it's very important to not only communicate synchronously over tools like Skype or Zoom or WebEx, but asynchronously, where you're not face to face on a screen. So it's just a change of some cultures and work procedures.
I think there's been quite a large push in the past. In the past few years, to move away from voice communications to email or messages or something like that. But I've definitely seen a lot of move back towards voice, towards obviously onwards to video. But I think people want that verbal communication, don't they?
Yeah, emails and texting is a very passive thing. You do not actually transfer your emotions in that. So I think emotional control.
Sometimes your
is very important.
Come across totally wrong, can't they?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you and me were sitting in a room, in a cozy room, then the level of talk, or maybe the enthusiasm or the pitch or frequency might be different. But now we are talking to each other in a interactive mode, in a video conferencing. So this is, I mean, we are trying to embrace the change, and we are trying to synchronously transfer our thoughts over a wired link.
Yeah, exactly. And we talked a little bit about IoT, and obviously, as your particular sphere of kind of expertise is in networks and telecommunications, how do you think innovative technology can really help businesses to survive and thrive within that particular area, within networks? You know, what do you see coming that people can use to really help their businesses?
Yeah. So, I mean, in a nutshell, I would say that in the coming months, businesses are going to become more reliant than ever on their digital strategy. Without wanting to sound too alarmist, in many cases, it will be the deciding factor in whether they make it through the tough times ahead or not. So there is a popular meme circulating these days that who is responsible for your company's digital transformation? A, your CTO, B, your CEO, or COVID-19.
Yeah, so that's right. I've seen that one, and I actually mentioned it myself. So it's probably the biggest one coming out of this.
So the unprecedented and almost total disappearance of all channels related to live events and conferences, and the increasing barriers on face-to-face business pose an enormous challenge. The key to resilience is the development of ongoing contingencies to mitigate these against the losses. I mean, larger companies are also now finding themselves in the position of having potentially lost millions through canceled events. So they won't claw back the hours of time and the expense spent on preparations for this year. For example, the big event for technology in Barcelona was canceled just because of COVID-19. But insurance and flexible cancellation policies will leave them with marketing budget to reassign. So digitalization is likely to be the clear winner here, and companies, including ones that may not so much as at like a Facebook page before we'll need to move into social marketing, content marketing, and influence-led campaigns. So, I mean, of course, I mean, this means there are opportunities out there for taking it. If you are a B2B, business to business supplier in an industry, then that has been slow to adapt digital marketing. A key factor in resilience is adaptability. So if it's standard in your industry to go out and meet new customers face to face before you do business, so adapting many new opening adapting means like opening new channels over web or social media platforms where introductions can be made, relationships can be fostered. So in coming months, I see, I mean, the prospective clients are going to be less open to the idea of letting you walk through the door and shake their hand, and no one really has any idea how long this will last and whether this will lead to longer term change or not.
No, that's right. And I think, you know, for us, that's one of the reasons why we're doing these series, these conversations, is trying to adapt to that new normal where you're reaching out to customers and clients and providing different types of value, so that you can keep your brand going, you know, because it's not so easy to present it kind of in the standard style. Going forward, though, I mean, obviously we always, as GCS, always talking from a recruitment point of view. I mean, I know you run large teams worldwide, you recruit a lot. So how do you think this will change the recruitment landscape?
The answer lies in the time frame or the duration of this pandemic as well. So there will be hiring and recruitment freezes. There will be reduced working hours and implementation of voluntary leave options, so to say, as I see from a human resource perspective. However, in jobs where people can work from home, many businesses and employees are doing their best to adapt to the new working norm. So there have been encouraging signs from many businesses that they can facilitate and recalibrate remote working. So this pandemic could be a catalyst to start a remote working revolution, which could see the revitalization of rural places in Ireland, for example, or in the UK, less traffic congestion and access to affordable accommodation and housing outside the traditional commuter belts. So it certainly highlights the need for a robust and functioning national and international broadband infrastructure as a key priority.
For sure. And look, you think about that, you know, one of the reasons for the recruitment industry is skill shortages. You know, if you're able to recruit from the whole world, then that tilts on its head the whole idea of skill shortages a little bit, doesn't it? You know,
sorry, say it again.
It changes the whole idea of skill shortages, doesn't it? If you could recruit from anyone anywhere in the world who could work for you remotely.
Oh yes, I mean, this will change a lot of things from a management and from a human resource perspective. So if you can hire people from anywhere and if they are happy working remotely, so there won't be any requirement for work permits or
tax will be strange.
It will be a totally strange world. I mean, without any international borders. So
that's right. Yeah. Everybody working in the Virgin Islands or the Isle of Man with no taxes. Or something like that. And for you yourself, you know, are you kind of getting much? I know you're very involved in the kind of community of network people. Is there a lot of kind of intercompany stuff kind of going on? Do you reach out to your peers and talk to them about what's going on?
Yeah. So I mean, I have friends in different places in North America, in Canada, in US, Canada, of course, in back in Pakistan and in the Middle East. So they are always also experiencing the same kind of situation. And for them, I mean, the ones which have been traveling so much, like 70% of the time, so they are like stuck up in their home, and for them, their connection with the airlines and the upgrades they used to get, so they are missing those bits and elements in the perks in the travel business. They were traveling.
My airline points are getting destroyed at the moment. My British Airways points, executive club card is no good at the moment. So That's good. But Salman, it's been great to speak to you. I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to speak, and obviously look forward to seeing you, hopefully non-virtually, in a pub or something in Dublin in the next few months at least. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.